What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of 90 Day Fiance Season 10, Episode 12, In Sickness and in Health. Let's get started with Nikki and Igor. So after finding out that Igor was having friends with benefits behind her back, Nikki is disgusted. She doesn't want to stay at the winery that they were visiting for their little romantic getaway, and she just wants to go back to Igor's apartment. So they leave prematurely. So in the car, Nikki tells Igor that I think that you were with me for the money and you were with these other women for the sex. And I'm like, ding, 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 ding. Yeah, that's kind of obvious, Nikki, that that's what it was really all about. My personal opinion is that I think that Igor is with Nikki for the money. I think that after they broke up initially years ago, once he found out that she was trans and he couldn't deal with that, and then they reconnected years later, I think he sought her out because he was in financial need, and that's why he wanted to rekindle this romance with her and get back with her, because he just wanted the money. To me, it's really obvious that Igor is with her for the money. I think he does care for her because he did have a relationship up until the time he found out that she was trans. I think he does really care for her, but as far as this romantic happy ever after that Nikki is looking for, I don't think Igor can really provide that, at least not right now. So after that, Igor tells her that he wants to have a threesome with her, and Nikki was highly offended, right? She was extremely offended by this. And I think the reason why he suggested the threesome, he does it under the guise of, hey, let's try something really freaky. Let's do something out of the box, something that we don't usually. But I think in reality, he wants to have a threesome because I think that's the easiest or the quickest way he can, rise to the occasion with Nikki being there, because they're struggling, in the sex department. And I think it's because he can't perform with her because it's always in the back of his mind that she's trans. And so he thinks that if he has a naturally born woman there, then he'll be able to quickly, make things happen, and, he can go ahead and satisfy everybody. So like I said, Nikki was really offended by that. And she said that he wants to have a threesome because of the fact that she's trans and that she wasn't born biologically female. Okay, once again, Nikki, you're correct. Yes, that's exactly what it is. As difficult as that might be, I think that's exactly what it is. So Nikki in her confessional says, and why is he even with me? Well, you already said it yourself. He's with you for the money, and then he's with other women to satisfy him sexually. So they're back at Igor's apartment, and Nikki asked him how many friends with benefits did he have, and he said that he only had 2. Igor, who the hell do you think is going to believe that? Who the hell do you think is going to believe that? Because remember, Nikki said that he did not think that they were serious up until the time that he proposed to her with the ring. So from the time that they reunited to the time that he proposed to her, I think that was a big time frame. And I don't think he was just with 2 women. How about 2 times 10? Is that a little bit closer to the truth? Because no one is believing that you were only with 2 women that whole entire time. No, nobody believes that. But I don't know. Nikki didn't really challenge him on that, so I don't know if she believed it herself or not. So Nikki tells him that she's already done all of the sexual exploration, experimentation that she's done. She's taking care of all of that in her 20s, doing threesomes, foursomes, whatever the hell was going on back then. She's done it all. And so she's no longer in that mindset. She wants to have something serious. She wants to be monogamous. She wants to get married, and she doesn't want to do any of this other freaky stuff. That's not where she's at. So during their conversation, Igor lets it out that he's actually expecting to have threesomes after they're even married, because he knows that's the only way that he can be sexually satisfied without doing things behind Nikki's back, is for him to be with, biologically born women. And if they're there with him and Nikki, then he feels like he's not doing anything, behind her back or doing anything in secret. Everything is going to be out in the open. It's a win-win situation for him. He gets his satisfaction. He doesn't have to sneak around behind Nikki's back. Nikki thinks that everybody is, voluntarily participating in these acts, and so it should be a win-win in his mind. So later on, Nikki FaceTimes her mom and she tells her mom that, you know, Igor wants to have a threesome. And her mom was like, a what? She says, a threesome. He wants to have a threesome. And so Nikki's mom, she's like, you know what? Just give him an ultimatum. Either he's going to act right and, you know, be the man that you want him to be, or you're going to leave the relationship. You know, you're tired of playing these games with him and going back and forth with him. While she's FaceTiming her mother, Igor's meeting up with one of his friends and he's complaining about the thing that he's always complaining about when it comes to Nikki. The fact that she is too aggressive, that she is too masculine for him. That, you know, the fact that she's like constantly after sex and demanding sex, you know, that's like his biggest complaint about her. And I think Igor wants to be the one to chase the woman, to chase the female. And I think Nikki wants to be chased. I think Nikki wants to be pursued. I don't think this is what she would choose for herself in a relationship, is to be the one that's chasing the man and always demanding sex from the man. That's not what Nikki wants. But if she didn't do that, they wouldn't be doing anything at all, you know, sexually. Nothing would be happening, period. So she feels like she has to be the one to chase him down, to demand it from him, you know, to constantly bring it up with him when because if she didn't, he wouldn't. So her mom, okay, so the friend tells him that he needs to be more aggressive. He needs to be more masculine with her. But I didn't understand in what way. Like, be more masculine in what? Like in demanding sex, or more masculine in telling her, no, we're not going to do that. You know, I don't want to do that. And he needs to stand up to her. So I really wasn't quite sure. I think the friend meant you need to be more masculine, as in, hey, I don't like this behavior in you. I don't want you to be more aggressive. I don't want you to be as masculine as me and as demanding as me. I need you to chill the hell out. I think that's what the friend meant. So in conclusion, Nikki and Igor, it's a no-go as far as I'm concerned. I think Nikki, you know, if you want to save face, you need to leave this relationship. Igor has the right to feel how he feels. If he is not naturally attracted to trans women, then he's just not naturally attracted to trans women. You know, we can't fault him for that. So they just need to both move on. And, you know, Nikki, you need to find a man who's okay with you being trans, and Igor, you can go back to your biologically born or cisgendered women, and everybody will be happy instead of y'all being together and causing each other so much damn misery. Because every single time, but you know what, they'll have their moments, right, where everything seems to be going really well, and then all of a sudden it doesn't. And I know that when she met his parents and the parents gave their seal of approval, you know, Nikki probably thought, oh, this is wonderful, the parents approve of me, and so everything is going to work out. But it didn't matter what the parents thought. What only matters is what Igor thinks and what Igor wants. Moving on to Sophie and Rob. So Sophie's mom has arrived in Los Angeles. She's going to be staying at a hotel because, y'all, there is just no more room in Rob's apartment. You cannot fit a damn mouse in Rob's apartment because it's so small. So there's just no room for her at all. There's no space, no more space available. So she's going to be staying at a hotel. So Rob and Sophie, they go to visit her at her hotel. And after the initial greeting, Sophie's mom tells Rob, if you do anything to hurt my daughter, I'm going to kill you. And I'm like, wow, mom, what a way to set the mood. So after that, they talk about the wedding, and if they're going to have, the mother asked them, are you going to do anything traditional, like something blue, something old, something used, something new, or whatever? And they talk about that. And I think Sophie said yes. And Rob was like, no, that's really outdated. And then the mom says, well, are you going to at least throw the bouquet? And then they said, well, it's going to be a very small wedding. Now, it's not going to be that many people there. And then the mom says, well, then you better throw that bouquet at me. And then I think Rob said, well, you know, my mom will be there as well. And then Sophie's mom made a joke that if Rob's mom is there to catch the bouquet, she's going to push her out of the way. So then Rob said that, you know, oh, my mom is really, really small. And, you know, you're going to come off really, you know, that was a very aggressive thing to say. And so then Sophie and her mom kind of look at Rob like, we were just joking. Like, no one's going to push your mom anywhere. We're just joking, like, relax. And Rob was like, I know y'all were joking, duh. I know that. But I'm just saying that type of a joke, it just shows how aggressive your mother is. And so then they go back and forth on that. And like the whole evening was kind of like dead at that point because they had this miscommunication or misunderstanding about this damn joke. So then later on, or no, the next day, Sophie's mom comes over to check out their apartment. And of course she hates it. And she tells Rob, you know, you had 2 years. You knew for 2 years that Sophie was coming to America, and you did absolutely nothing to prepare for her arrival, because during that time you should have been saving your money and getting a bigger place. And Rob tells the mother that, look, all the money that I was saving, I was spending it on seeing Sophie, you know, keeping our relationship going. And the mom was like, as a man, okay, you should have been more of a man, and you should have foregone all of the visits to the UK or however they were visiting each other, or she was coming here. I don't know how it went. You should have foregone all of those visits and saved that money for a bigger place, because you knew that my daughter was eventually going to come live with you in Los Angeles, and you've done nothing in preparation for her. So then Rob, of course, you know, Rob, he doesn't back down. Okay, he acts on his emotions, and so he's like, you know what, y'all don't understand what it's like to struggle. I'm doing this all by myself. I have no one to call on, no one to rely on. I'm doing this all by myself. Y'all just don't know what it's like to be at the bottom. So the mom also gets defensive, and she's like, well, you don't know about my situation. You don't know about my life. And Rob was like, so you're telling me that you have nobody to call on, nobody that can help you? And the mom was like, no, I don't. So they go back and forth about that, like whose struggle is the worst. And then he storms out, and basically that was the end of that. And it looks like from next week's episode, Sophie and her mom are going to be leaving the apartment to go stay somewhere else. There's a lot of resentment in Rob. Like during the early episodes, he was talking a lot about how, oh, she's a rich girl and she better not come to LA thinking that I'm going to, you know, be spoiling her and buying all this stuff for her. And, you know, she's going to come with a silver spoon in her mouth in LA because it ain't like that in LA. He was talking, you know, a big talk about how she should not be expecting some luxurious lifestyle. Okay, you can't provide, but are you resentful that, you know, she comes from, Sophie says she came from money, and I'm thinking it's maybe on her dad's side. I don't know, but she says she came from money. She said that she was living in this nice apartment in London, and she was living in the lap of luxury, and, you know, whatever. So, and Rob seems to think that, you know, she's like this spoiled rich girl, so she must come from money. I don't know. So, but it seems like Rob is very resentful of the fact that she comes from money, and he's not able to match that, and he kind of resents that. And I think that, you know, and I kind of get the feeling that Sophie is not like trying to make him turn into some rich, wealthy guy. Like, she's okay with them living this middle class or lower middle class life. She just wants a bigger apartment. She just wants an efficiency, not an efficiency, but a 1-bedroom with a bathroom that's inside the apartment. That's all she's wanting. She's not asking him to like move into a mansion with a swimming pool and a tennis court. She just wants a place where she doesn't have to go outside to the outhouse to go use the bathroom. And I don't think that that's too much to ask for. Rob is a single man. You know, he's a single man, healthy, you know, good looking. He can make it happen if he really wanted to make it happen. If he really wanted to improve his lifestyle, he really could. So I'm just not understanding why we haven't done that yet. Moving on to Citra and Sam. So Citra expresses to us how she's really worried about Sam having to go to jail if the judge orders him back to going to jail because he messed up his diversion requirements. He forgot to turn in some paperwork, and now he's facing possible jail time. And she's really worried about what her father's going to think of all of this, right? So, but she says she's going to stick by him. She's not going to break up with him. If he ends up going to jail, they're going to figure it out, but she has no plans on breaking up with him. So then later on, they're on their way to see Sam's mother. And as they're driving to Sam's mother's house, Sam warns Citra and tells her, look, my mom is crazy. I'm just letting you know that I normally try to keep my distance from her because I think she's like very overly religious. His mother is Christian and she's very into her religion, and that kind of rubs Sam the wrong way. And so he's kind of like letting her know that, hey, just letting you know, if you kind of wonder why me and her are not that tight, or you wonder why I don't see her that often, it's because of this, you know. So when they get to plus Citra says that she wants to get along with his mom because her own mom passed away, and so she's looking for like a mother figure in her life, which is really, really sweet. So they get to the house and she meets the mom, and and also she gets to meet his grandmother. His grandmother is there as well. And after the small talk, the mom gets right down to it. You know, she gets right down to the nitty gritty. And so she wanted to know, are they going to have a Muslim ceremony for their wedding? And Citra's like, yeah. And then the mother asked about, you know, Sam converting to Islam. And he basically tells his mom that he's still on the track to do that, but, you know, they have to see what needs to be done once Citra's father arrives. But like, he still plans on doing that. So the mom tells us that she wishes that Citra and her family would just go ahead and, you know, drop this whole Muslim thing and begin to serve the God that she serves. So the mom tells them, I'm okay with y'all getting married, but she's just not okay with them getting married in the Muslim way. So she's struggling with her son converting to Islam. And I feel like if we're going to see more of Sam's mom, I have a feeling that she's just going to continue to be more offensive. You know what I'm saying? She's going to continue to be more offensive. You just have to, look, just worry about your salvation. Okay, worry about your salvation. Your son is an adult. He's making this decision, you know, to convert to another religion. He may or may not do it. So you're probably getting all worked up for nothing. He may decide to not do it at the end of the day. Who knows? So just let them do what they need to do. Let them have their Muslim ceremony. Let them convert to Islam. Whatever it is, just let them do it. They're adults. And you just worry about your salvation, your own relationship with God, and leave it at that. But please don't try to impose your own beliefs on people who already have an established religion. And whatever the hell's going on with your son, those are his choices. Moving on to Annalie and Clayton. So Annalie, she's still mad at Clayton for him talking about their sex life, or their lack of a sex life, to his friend and his friend's girlfriend at dinner, because Annalie says that's a very private thing, and I was really embarrassed when you brought that up. Now Clayton, his whole defense is that, look, I'm part of that private life. You know, that private life is also my private life. And if I want to talk about it with my friend, I have the right to do that. And Annalie's like, yes, you have more than the right to talk about whatever you want to talk about with your friend, but just don't do it in front of me in a public setting with other people there. So he apologizes because, you know, he realizes that he was wrong. He was making her feel extremely uncomfortable. And as her boyfriend, you know, you should really be concerned about the comfort level of your partner. And so he should have seen right away that she was not having it, and it was making her uncomfortable. So thank God he apologized. He wasn't going to be, you know, bullheaded about it. So later on, we see Clayton, him and his friend, they are taking a Peruvian dance class, because I think he's going to do this dance at the wedding. Yeah, I think that's what he's going to do. So after their dance lessons, him and his friend are having a conversation about him and Annalie's relationship. And the friend says that, you know, things are not looking so good. You know, in his opinion, things don't look that great between Clayton and Annalie. Number one, they're not having any type of sexual relations. You know, they're not having sex. So the friend doesn't understand that. And they're about to get married. And so, like, he's like, what's up with that? And then number two, Annalie still has not told her dad about Clayton. And so the friend tells Clayton, I think that the reason why, you know, y'all are not having sex, and the reason why she hasn't told her father about you, is because I don't think she's really sure that she even wants to be with you. And the friend tells us that the reason why, you know, Clayton is not really taking any of this stuff seriously is because he doesn't want to lose Annalie. So he's not really going to challenge her on anything, because he doesn't want her to break up with him. But the friend, I guess that conversation that he had with his friend encouraged Clayton to talk to Annalie at least about why she still has not told her father about him. So over dinner later on that night, it's just the two of them, and he brings it up and he says, look, I just want to know, it's been 2 years. Why the hell haven't you told your dad about me? And Annalie gets really uncomfortable about it. And she's like, you know, Clayton, I already told you, I'm going to tell him when I'm ready. And he was like, exactly. It's been 2 years and we're about to get married. When are you going to get ready? And so, or when are you going to be ready? And so she still beats around the bush, doesn't really want to give him a direct answer, or exactly the reason why. I don't know if he knows the reason why. So then he says, you know, if your dad could die at any moment and he would never know that I was even in your life. And so she completely took that the wrong way. And she was like, oh, are you wishing death on my dad? I'm like, Annalie, what? What are you doing, girl? Stop with the dramatics. He is not wishing death on anybody. He's just saying that if anything were to happen to your dad would have no idea that his little girl was engaged to somebody, and, you know, that she was in this full-blown relationship about to get married. So she tells us that the reason why she hasn't told her dad is because her dad is extremely overprotective of her. And so this is the reason why she hasn't told her dad about Clayton. I mean, to me, it just, I just don't understand, like, how you can move to another country and before you even move, go through this whole visa process, applying for the visa and going through the whole immigration process. And, like, you're going to get married and you still haven't told your dad. This doesn't make any sense. But this also happened to, oh God, let me see if I can remember their name. I'm not going to remember their name. I know the brother's name was John. Patrick and Anais. Was that her name? Patrick and Anais. I think, you know, where she was refused to tell her dad. But at some point, you know, after Patrick kept on pressuring her, she finally did make that call. And nothing, I mean, it's not like her dad came after her and murdered her. You know what I mean? It was like, okay, the dad really wasn't happy about it, but what could he do? So I think that Annalie, you know, you're kind of too scared for nothing. If your dad loves you as much as he does, you're an adult, you know? Yes, he's overprotective. He's always going to worry. No matter who you marry, your dad's going to worry. So just go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off and tell the man so that Clayton can shut up about it. We don't have to drag this storyline on and on and on, episode after episode. Moving on to Jasmine and Gino. So they're at the pier and they're talking about Jasmine's children. You know, she's taking videos to send back to her son. And she talks about how, well, you know, I really can't wait for my children to come to America. I really want my children to be here. And she tells Gino that her son has sent her a message saying that he also loves Gino very, very much. And they talk about him being a bonus dad. And then Gino says, well, I want to be more than a bonus dad. I want to be a real dad. I want us to, you know, have kids. So then Jasmine, you know, she gets really uncomfortable and she says that she's just not ready to have any more children right now. And in her confessional, she tells us that, you know, she has this fear of having more children. The thought of having more children causes her a lot of pain because her youngest child is a special needs child. And so that experience has made her very weary of having more children. And it's not the fact that her son is special needs that bothers her. What bothers her is how other people treat her son, how, you know, how cruel people can be to her child. And she doesn't want to go through that again. And that's the real reason why she doesn't want to have any more children. And so then she tells Gino, what if I can't give you a neurotypical child? And Gino was like, I don't care about that. I don't care what kind of child we have. Our child can be whatever. I don't care because I still want a child, and it's okay if they're not neurotypical because we're still going to love that child and take care of that child. So, you know, checkmate, Jasmine. Gino says he doesn't care if he's going to have a child that's not neurotypical. If he has a special needs child, he doesn't care at all. He's going to love that child nonetheless. So what you going to do about it, Jasmine? You going to have this kid for him or not? Like, where are we at? I don't think she's going to do it. I don't think she's going to have any more children. I think that she probably does have fears, you know, because of what happened with her last child. But I don't know why. I just think for Jasmine, it's more about, and I hate to say this, I think it's more about body image for her. That's what I'm thinking. Because she put so much time and money into fixing her body the way she wants it. I don't think she wants to ruin her body with pregnancy, y'all. And I feel so bad for saying that. But that's like my personal opinion. And if I'm wrong, you know, God strike me. But that's what I think. Moving on to Ashley and Manuel. So Ashley surprises Manuel with a visit from his best friend. And so he was really happy to see his friend. And Ashley tells them, hey, you know, why don't y'all go out, have some drinks, you know, go take a gander at the city of Rochester, have a good time. So they leave. So while they're out getting drinks, they talk about Ashley, and Manuel tells his friend, you know, man, this woman spends money. You know, she's always buying stuff. All the money that she spent on clothes and whatever else, I could have been sending that money to my family. And his friend is like, you know what, that's just how it is. That's the culture here. He goes, you know, look at me. I'm not that kind of guy to buy a bunch of clothes and shoes, but that's what the culture is here. You know, next thing I know, I'm finding myself with 20 pairs of shoes. So this is what it is. This is about capitalism. capitalism and consumerism. This is how they live here. So just get with the program. This is not Ecuador. Okay. This is the people here. They have the luxury and the ability to do that, to spend a whole bunch of money on a whole bunch of nonsense. So he tells him to get with the program and not make a big deal about it. Then they talk about how, you know, he says he's homesick. He misses his family, his friends, his country, etc., etc. The next day, all three of them go out for coffee, and Ashley feels like they talk about money. They bring up the subject of money. Well, Ashley brings it up, and she tells the friend that she feels like Manuel is very controlling of her money. Like he directs her how to spend the money, how much to save, etc. And she's like, you know, I'm not used to that. I want to do whatever the hell I want to do. And Manuel, he's still stuck on, if we ever have extra money, it needs to go back to my family, not to go buy more stuff, more materialistic things. And so he says that he calls her selfish because he says that she's only thinking about herself, that she does not think about others, that he doesn't feel supported by her. Well, she got highly offended by that, and she gets up and she walks away from the table, and she tells us that everything she's done was in support of Manuel. She says, you know, I support him. I take care of him 100%. He can't do anything for himself. I brought him here by myself. I didn't ask anybody else to help me. I'm taking care of him by myself. I'm the one sending money back to his family. So for him to say that I'm not supporting him, yeah, that hurts. It really hurts my feelings. And that's where their segment ends. Ashley and Manuel have that hot and cold relationship. Like it's either hot or it's cold, but it's never like just in the middle. And I don't know how you can have a successful relationship when it's like that extreme. Either they're fighting about whatever, or, you know, so, because in the next episode, we see that in order to calm her, I can't believe I said that, in order to resolve the problem, they're in the bathroom, and, you know, they're taking care of business in the bathroom, in a public bathroom. So it's like, he knows how to handle her because evidently it works, because it does calm her down, and it does, I guess, shut her up. And I just don't know how you can like build a marriage just on that. Either y'all are arguing, or y'all are, I just don't know how you can have a full-blown relationship just on those two things. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. If you like this content, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.